How to determine if you're eligible to sell your HDB. Hey, my name is Mark from Mark Angel, and I understand that to most people this is one of the most insignificant topic when it comes to planning for the sale of your property. But I want to be able to share why this is important, and you do not want to overlook this as it will jeopardize your entire timeline planning as well as your chance of securing a higher offer. And if you watch this to the end of this video, you're going to discover the exact steps to determine your eligibility to sell, as well as the very first step, registering intent to sell, which you need to be doing before you start marketing or putting your house up for sale. So let's start with one of the most common mistakes BTO owners will make when it comes to their eligibility to sell their flat, which is, I saw some of my neighbors sold their flat, so I believe I can sell mine too. And this just brings me back to one of my recent clients whom we met at a show flat, and prior to this viewing, he has actually viewed almost the entire developments in the West region, and he has been actively doing his research on the market price movement, developers break even, and even at a stage of selecting which is the best unit for his purchase. So this is mostly the high level type of research, and the basic research will be those like financial calculations, affordability, timeline planning, and eligibility, which we are discussing in this video right now. I mean, judging from this, we can see that he really did his homework and he is almost ready for the purchase. So after the show flat viewing, he is actually interested in one of the dual key layouts, which is extremely rare in today's market, and he is keen to make an offer. But before that, he actually has to sell his HDB in order for him to make that purchase. So we arranged another appointment with him at his unit to create a marketing strategy to sell his HDB faster, so that he can actually make the purchase before anybody else. And to our surprise, when we did the eligibility check, his MOP is actually a year later, and there's nothing we can do about it. And here's the worst part. The unit might not be available a year later, as somebody else might have bought it, and the amount of time spent doing the research and viewing all the different show flats are all in vain. So you do want to take note if you have purchased a BTO or sale of balance previously. The start of your MOP is based on your key collection, which may be different from your neighbors. And now that you know what to look out for as a BTO owner, what if you purchase a resale flat from the open market? So moving on to another common mistakes that homeowners do not know about is, if you have purchased a resale flat from the open market and if you have given the seller an extension of stay, your MOP is actually at the end of the extension and not based on the completion date. Or there might be a situation where the seller is able to hand over the unit to you earlier before the end of the agreement. And if you didn't inform HDB that you have taken over the unit on the day of the handover, your MOP date will be counted at the end of the 3 months. So you can actually find this information over here in the HDB website. Just Google HDB temporary extension of stay, and over here in the expiry and termination, it says that extension of stay will be terminated automatically at the end of the 3 months. There won't be any further extension beyond the 3 months. The flat buyers, which is the new owners, must inform the HDB branch managing the flat via My HDB page if the extension is terminated earlier. The computation of the MOP for the new owners will commence after the extension of stay is terminated. So let me just give you a real life example of this particular scenario. Let's say 5 years ago you have purchased a resale HDB flat from the open market, and you agree on giving a 3 months extension stay to the seller, and you have submitted to HDB on your resale application. And for some reason, the seller has moved out and is able to hand over to you at the end of the 2nd month. But you didn't know about this and you didn't inform HDB about the handover. And moving forward 5 years later, when you're thinking of relocating or upgrading your property, you have to take note that the start of your MOP is based on the last day of the extension, and it's not based on the day of the completion or the day the sellers hand over the keys to you. So now that you know the two most common mistakes that homeowners will make when it comes to their eligibility to sell their flat, I want to be able to walk you through step by step on how you should properly determine your eligibility to sell your HDB flat, and the number one thing you should do before everything else. So what I usually do is I'll log into my HDB page and you will see an overview of the HDB page itself. On the top, click on My Flat and go to Flat Details. So in the Flat Details page itself, you'll see a lot of information such as your flat details, your address, the floor area, when did you purchase the flat, and how much did you purchase it for, and most important of all, the minimum occupation period, the MOP, which is located right below the fire insurance portion. So this will accurately show you whether you have met your MOP to sell your flat. But before you jump into registering your intent to sell, like what most other people will do, what I usually do is I plan out these 3 items in advance. Number 1, your financial plan. How much cash or CPF do I have after selling my house, and whether do I need to take up another loan for my next purchase? If yes, how much do I need? Should I go for a HDB loan or a bank loan? And then for number 2, your timeline planning. When should I start marketing my house for sale? What's the process when it comes to the entire sale and purchase timeline? Am I doing a contra? Do I need an extension of stay? And the last one, which is marketing strategy. What are the tips and tricks to actually sell your property higher? How do we attract buyers from the sea of competitions, which probably I will cover in one of my future videos. So be sure to subscribe to this channel so you'll be able to see more videos like this in the future. Yeah, so it will be better if you have a clear overview of these 3 items before you register for the intent to sell, as it has a validity period of 12 months to it. So what is intent to sell? Why is it important for homeowners, and how do you go about registering it? After you have planned out the entire overview of the 3 items for you, in order for you to start your journey of selling your flat, you will need to register an intent to sell. Think of intent to sell as the eligibility to sell your flat, and once you register, you will be able to get your results immediately. And the best part, it's free. And apart from the eligibility, you will receive important information such as your ethics policy, integration policy, Singapore permanent resident quota for your block, status of upgrading, billing of upgrading costs, and recent transacted prices of nearby flats. Inside the intent to sell, which I'm going to go through with you in depth in a later part of this video. So right now I'm going to walk you through on the steps to register the intent to sell. So what I usually do is I go to Google and I type in register intent to sell, and you just click on the link that has services2.hdb.gov.sg, and you will see this welcome to HDB resale portal, and just select the option I am a buyer or seller, and proceed to log in with your SingPass. And once you are in, select I want to sell my flat on the right hand corner. That will bring you to this page here, and click on register under step 1. So on this page, you want to take note that after you register the intent to sell, you must wait at least 7 days before you grant an option to purchase to a buyer, which I will go through in depth with you in a short while. So click on next, and you will be at page 1 of the intent to sell. This is where you enter the owner's particulars, and if you have 2 owners, be sure to enter 2 owners' particulars as well. And once you are done, click on next, and usually for page 2 I will leave it blank for now because I have not purchased any resale flats. And for the last part, page 3, double confirm your particulars and click submit intent, and you are done. So now I want to walk you through in-depth details inside the intent to sell on the key pointers you must take note of. So the first part is the eligibility to sell. It should say you are eligible to sell your flat, which has your address on it, the model, the floor area, as well as the remaining list. You want to take note of the floor area because your buyer might ask you how big your house is, and the household ethic quota, the classification, so that you will be able to check the ethic quota before you start marketing your house or issue an option to purchase to a buyer. And the next portion you will see is option to purchase, which is your OTP is a legal contract that buyers and sellers enter into. You will only be able to grant the option to purchase to a buyer on or after 14 June 2021. So this particular date over here will be different depending on when you registered your intent to sell. And this part here is crucial. If you haven't noticed, this is where the cooling period comes in. There's this 7 day gap between the date where you apply for the intent to sell and to the day where you are able to grant the option to purchase. So what is this 7-day cooling off period and what does it do? In the HDB website under Q5 of the frequently asked questions, after registering their intent to sell, they will have to wait out a 7-day cooling off period before they can grant the option to purchase. Sellers should use this cooling off period wisely and consider the housing options available to them. So basically what it does is this cooling period allows the homeowners to kind of consider wisely if they really want to sell off the house and what are the housing options available to them after they sell the flat. I believe this measure is implemented to stop people from perhaps rushing into selling their HDB for whatever reasons and to just sit and think through what's going to happen next. So what I usually do during this cooling period is I will prepare the script for the home tour video and shoot the home tour as soon as possible so that after the cooling period, we can arrange for physical viewings for the buyers who are interested to view physically after watching the video. And if you're wondering what happens if you issue out the option to purchase within the 7-day cooling period, probably you will face an error when you try to submit your resale application. And to be completely honest with you, I haven't come across a case where the seller or the seller's agent issue an option to purchase within the cooling period. And as for myself, I don't have this problem because I personally use a checklist whenever I serve HDB sellers. So after understanding what the cooling period is, another important factor you want to take note is the quota under the Ethic Integration Policy and quota for non-Malaysian Singapore PR. So right below this, they will actually tell you which ethnic group and citizenship you can sell your flat to, and you want to take note that this result is only valid if you submit the resale application in the month where you apply for the intent to sell, which means if you haven't found a suitable buyer in this month, be sure to check out both of the quotas that are updated on the first calendar day of every month to determine which ethnic group and citizenship you are able to sell to. So you can actually check this in the HDB Map Services website. Just let me give you a quick example here. You go to Google and type in HDB Map Services and click on Services to hdb.gov.sg and click on the housing and type in your address. Under the ethnic group eligibility and SPR quota of buyers, select seller and you will be able to see the results. And back to the intent to sell under the seller stamp duty portion. So if you have a special approval to sell your HDB before the MOP period, do note that seller stamp duty is payable if you sell within a certain holding period. But in a normal situation where you have met your MOP, you do not have to worry about this portion here. And if you're looking to purchase another HDB flat, do submit your intent to buy before you put down the deposit for your next flat, which I will probably talk in one of my buying series in another playlist. So I hope you have enjoyed watching this video, and if you're somebody who is thinking about selling your property, let me know what's your biggest challenge so far in the comment box below, so I'll be able to give you some of my opinions and feedbacks. And if you like what you have seen so far, be sure to smash the like button again. It really does help the channel out, and be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos just like this one. This is Mark, and I will see you in my next video.